Do you need a fun, easy, quick gift, or maybe something fun, easy, and quick to make for you that's maybe made out of some of your scrap fabric? Well, I have just the thing. Hi there, I'm Laura, one of the owners and designers here at Rivet Patterns, and today we're going to talk about the Oven Mitt. This Oven Mitt comes in 3 sizes. That's right, this is the large. We'll do a medium, and we'll also have a small. And I'm going to show you how to make it today. It's made out of 100% cotton fabric, 100% cotton batting, and I've quilted it, so 100% cotton thread, and it is the perfect size. This is a size large. We always struggle with my husband and his hand fitting into store-bought oven mitts. This one's perfect. It's totally movable. It's pretty cute. So come make this with me. All right, let's get started. If you haven't printed your pattern piece out, go to the blog and download this pattern piece so that you can get started on your oven mitt. So what you're going to need is 2 outers, 2 lining, and 2 battings. And you can see that these are mirrored, so I placed the wrong sides together and cut them out. I also have a 20-inch piece of fabric. It's 20 inches by 2 inches, or you can get some 1/2-inch double fold bias tape. That will work as well, but you'll need approximately 20 inches of it. All right, let's get started. So the thing is you can do this with or without quilting. You do not have to quilt this at all. It comes together easier if you quilt it, but it really isn't a requirement. So let's take one of our linings, one of our battings, and we're going to place our batting. So our lining is right side down, so wrong side up, and our batting is lined up there. Okay. Then we're going to take one of our outers and we're going to put it on top. So that's wrong side down, right side up. So we have a sandwich. Wrong side up, batting, wrong side down. And then we're going to grab some pins. Now you can get as fancy with your quilting as you like or as not fancy. It's up to you. You can be very precise about it if you want and make markings on it, or you can willy-nilly just go crazy with it. It's totally up to you. Get creative and do whatever you want. Okay, so there's one. Let's do the other. Now what you'll want to do is you'll want to decide how you're going to quilt it or not. You're at least going to want, if you do quilt, you're going to want a minimum of, some lines in one direction. You're going to want something. You could also grab a writing utensil, and you could be super precise about it, which I like being sometimes, and maybe today is one of those days. All right, I've got my quilting lines drawn. It's time to start quilting. Okay, all of our quilting is done. Let's give it a good press. Now, if you choose not to quilt it, at the very least, you need to baste these together on the outside. So about 1/4 of an inch in from the outside edge, just so you keep your layers together. I'm going to even up anything that is a little bit wonky so that they line up perfectly when I put them together. So now what you want to do is you need to take your pretty side, whatever is the outside. So like this is what I want on the outside. So we're going to place those right sides together. Using clips or pins, I'm going to clip this together. Now using about 1/4 of an inch seam allowance, I'm going to stitch all the way around here, back stitching at the beginning and the end. I am not going to stitch down here at all. No sewing down here. All right, let's get to sewing. Okay, now we're going to trim up our seam allowance a little bit. You could use like pinking shears on this as well to give it a little more of a finished edge. We're going to be covering up those unfinished edges of the opening here in a minute. But the inside will remain like this. So when you get to these rounded corners, you want to clip into or snip into that seam allowance without going through the seam allowance. With this little area here, we want to snip straight into the seam allowance without going through, because we want that to be like a nice corner there, and then continue snipping around all the curves. All right, so here's our hot pad. It is big enough for larger hands. Yeah, it's pretty awesome. I love it. Okay, now let's move on. Let's take our 20-inch strip, 20 inches by 2 inch, or our double fold bias tape. And what we're going to do is we are going to fold one short edge in about 1/4 inch and press it. And then we're going to fold it like a very long hot dog, keeping that fold that we just pressed in place. Now grab your pins or clips. And starting at one end, you're going to place this to the inside. Or to the outside. It's up to you however you want to do it. So this is the folded edge. Goes here. Let's clip that. We're going to go all the way around. Use as many clips as you need. You're lining up the raw edge. If you're using double fold bias tape, I will link the tutorial for that, how to make it, how to use it, in the description box below or on the blog post. You're going to have an overlap here. You want it to overlap the beginning by about 1 inch or so, and then snip off what is left. Oops. Go. So this is what it looks like. Okay. Now I'm going to sew all the way around here using a 1/4 inch to 3/8 inch seam allowance, or you can use a serger even to keep things like clean. Okay, now I'm going to go in and trim my seam allowance. Now we're going to bring that binding up. Okay, you can press it up if that will make it easier for you. Whoops. This is just the way I do it. If you have a preferred method for your binding, or you want to attach the binding to the outside instead of the inside first, you do it the way you want to do it. This is just an example of a way that you can do it. Okay. Now we're going to fold it over to cover up the raw edge of the outside, and you could pin or clip it in place. Okay. Now we're going to go to our sewing machine now, and we're going to edge stitch around that binding. Here we are. You can give it another press.